All right, what's up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast, health and fitness round. Joined as always by my good friend, business partner, and personal health and fitness mentor, Jim Brown. Jim, what's up, brother?
Just living another week, bro.
Yeah, hell
Yep,
yeah,
getting
dude.
along, getting along.
Well, we were just talking before we hit the record button, man, of like, look, I get that. And it's like negativity sells. So you go on the news, you go everywhere. It's just like negative, negative, negative. But we were just talking about, man, how it truly is, hands down, the best time to be alive for those that want to take advantage of their health and fitness journey. And I get that when people talk about negative, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe there are more obese people, out of shape people. But at the same time, man, like if you really want to get yourself into shape, like we're in this golden era.
Yeah, there's I travel a lot, as you know. I'm on the road 3 to 4 days a week, and the availability to get decent food is out there, right? There's chains. There's a chain in South Florida, even though the prices are ridiculous. There's chains in South Florida called the Carrot something. And I walked in and they sell baked potatoes or sweet potatoes with chicken breast stuffed inside of them. Literally two ingredients. And I'm like, where have you guys been? Unfortunately, it's like $20, but it's the same kind of thing that I get through Wendy's with my baked potato and two beef patties. But there's Whole Foods, there's all kinds of new places popping up that just cater to that clean food, single ingredient protein, vegetables. There's Fresh Kitchen, if you want to be fancy, but there's just so many other available choices now. Of course, those aren't free. They cost a lot. They cost more. They cost more than a hamburger in some cases. But the availability of not only like grocery stores where you can buy clean stuff, but I don't want to say fast food, but kind of fast food places like that. It's crazy, man. It never used to be that way. You really had to be the guy that ordered a hamburger and just ate just took the burger out, and they didn't cater to anything. So it's just from that aspect, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even look at it look, I mean, because you and I are kind of the opposite, where you're on the road all the time for business. Like shit, my whole life is in like a 2 mile radius, right? Where, but even when I do have to travel, like maybe it's a kid's event, whatever, like it's like, dude, like, okay, with 6-pack coolers, with cooler technology, how
Yeah.
cold it keeps things, how warm it keeps things. Pretty much anywhere I go, it's like, okay, there's always going to be a gas station as a microwave. So like, okay, like meal prepping, at least for me, is like, even when I'm on the road, like it's I don't think of a time where it's ever been easier, more convenient. Like it's all doable, but then from there, I just look at the amount of information, the amount of and also like, dude, I remember growing up, it was like, dude, there was a point in time where I'd have to drive 30 minutes to the closest gym. Now it's like they're in every freaking corner, so whether you need access to working out, plus, I don't know if you remember this, dude, but like, I mean, my dad owned and operated gyms for 30 years. So I grew up selling memberships and, but this is all kind of the same time when you and I are coming up, right? It was like, dude, gym memberships were 12-month contracts, like $50 a month. They used to be expensive as hell. Now you can go get gym memberships for nothing.
Yeah, they would lock you in, dude, and hold you to that
Yeah.
contract.
Oh, he
But
would. Yep.
even in my area, when I first moved up here, there was two LA Fitness gyms that were kind of spread apart. And I went to the one with there was one that had a bunch of old ass equipment that I really liked. And I went there, and then areas started growing a little bit. Gyms just got packed, and now we have four of them in a close proximity that are fucking awesome. It's crazy, man. And it's everywhere. Everywhere I travel, there's like a Crunch or a EOS or a Gold's or some smaller place that is a boutique kind of thing. It's really cool, man.
Yeah.
The availability, and then all the gyms are pretty good. Like I was in an EOS in South Florida this week, and they had all the kind of normal equipment. They had a whole leg room, 18 different booty machines, but all this other kind of cool shit, new stuff. And it's pretty neat, man. It's
Yeah.
good to see.
Yeah. And what I like seeing too, dude, is, my kids are, at that age where they're all, really into working out and, like you go to the gym now with their friends. Like I remember, okay, like I was the kid at the gym, but my dad owned the gym. So but I was like the only kid. I was like the only gym rat is, like now, dude, like all these young kids are working out. Um, and then on top of that, again, what always blows my mind is the information that's available, that just never existed out there, being able to tap into guys' minds like yours that just, it's like back in the day, unless I just had a relationship with you, like shit's just really, but the hard part too is then there's so much damn bad information out there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's it's two sides to that sword, right? There's a lot of information, but a lot of it's bad. But that being said, you can, with some logic, you can start to listen to guys and test out what they're telling you or test out what they think. And then, even when I sell somebody a program or I sell them training or I'm trying to train them, I'm like, look, man, I don't have the end all be all answer, but if you go through my training program and you take the stuff out of it that you identify really works for you and the stuff that doesn't, and then add it to your knowledge base of stuff that you already know that works for you and you like, then that's how you do it, man. That's how you become well-rounded and on your road to mastery, right? I mean, that's how I got to where I am, where I consider myself, pretty well mastered in what I want to do and what I can do to my body. But there's no one person that you're going to find and okay, this is it. This is Jesus. This is the Bible now. I'm just going to follow the gospel and that's it. It's the only answer out there. It's not like that. I was talking to a guy today on Twitter, and I think, I'm one of the guys. Of course, I think that if you buy one of my programs and you actually follow it and you take away the lessons from it, and then you try other people's programs, you try a few more, you try this, you try that, you try high volume, whatever it is, and you start to build this knowledge base. That's how you get to mastery. And then if you're going to go all out, you want to be the biggest, most grossest looking humanoid possible on earth. I mean, there's a guy now that's at the apex of standing on every bit of knowledge before him, Jordan Peters, sorry, Jordan Peters. He's a British bodybuilder, and that guy lays out every freaking detail, and he's laid out everything that he's ever done. And you look at him, you watch him lift on Instagram. He's the biggest. The guy is just inhuman. But if you look at everything he's done, I mean, he started at DC. He started this. Then the last few years when the Dorian Journal came out, he dissected it. And, he's a guy, I think if you keep going and you're trying to be, the biggest person in the world and the biggest, strongest guy in the world, you're going to end up doing what he's doing because he's at the forefront of knowledge. But that being said, man, a guy like that 20 years ago, there's nothing like that. If you guys had these systems that figured out that worked, but nothing like that, man. And so we're at the golden age of knowledge and availability of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. When then it gets crazy too. Yeah, I've never heard of Jordan Peters. When he said Jordan Peterson, I'm like, what?
No. Yeah. No. So, yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I just worked out a day in his life, bro.
No. If you go on Instagram and find that guy, Jordan Peters, he's usually doing a press or a stiff leg deadlift with like 8 plates. And
oh, damn.
The guy is unbelievable, but you can join his site and get his programs and all that stuff, but he's really laid out his whole evolution. And that's what it is. He started Dante, this, that, all this, all the same shit that we all did. And he's just continued to add to it and applied it. And my God, he's created some monsters, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Cause like with Dante, I mean, it used to be like back in the day, like you had to know the special forums to go to, you had the connections, had to have the relationships and, and then from there, when you started stacking on just, as good as they're getting at, amazing they're getting at formulations, it's amazing that they're getting at, like, you're really on this, experimental path, but really excited about Retatrutide.
Yeah.
I should know by now. We've only talked about it for like
talk about it every freaking week. Yeah.
But it's like, okay, for so long, it's like they got it wrong, man. It's like, meaning they're trying to increase metabolism. versus, okay, let's try to control people's food drive. Because everybody, I got a son. He's 14 years old, or no, 15 now, freshman in high school. And he's one of those kids with such a low food drive, dude. Like I'll be like, it's 3:00 and I'm like, bro, you eat yet? No. He's one of those kids, like, he had a pack of candy. He'll eat like two and be like, oh no, I'm good. And then you got other kids that just eat, like everybody's got different levels of food drive. Well, now that they realize, like, hey, dude, it's not increasing metabolism. It's like being able to regulate people's food drives. Well, now with like retatrutide, and these, it's like, man, it makes me wonder, like, where are we going to be in 20 years? Like, it's just fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, I don't know. And this is only like the third iteration. I mean, the third version that I know of, third or fourth of semaglutide. And now that there's more money in the space and there's more demand and they're pushing it, pushing the science, it's super exciting. But I really think, the food drive is interesting. We were talking about this with retatrutide with a bunch of guys and just finding that sweet spot where it cuts my hunger drive a little bit, but also it's keeping my insulin sensitivity at a crazy level, man. It's like at a level I can compare it to coming off of a single digit body fat diet, that rebound where you have the insulin sensitivity, because I can't remember my body ever responding this way except for being in that hypersensitive, or being on insulin right before it. And so now I can go days, I'll go days with super low calorie, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,200 calories, if that. And then, hunger kicks back in, or I feel super flat and I start eating carbs and I try to reglycogenate. Man, I'm gaining muscle. I don't know how, but my workouts have been hampered. I'm still recovering from my bicep. So I really haven't pushed any heavy weights on the upper body. And dude, the only thing I can think of is that the insulin sensitivity is so high that it's a crazy environment. So anyway, I won't turn this into another retatrutide podcast, but it's been incredible. It just makes me appreciate, kind of all the shit that's available now. And, for good and bad, I can always see somebody lifting heavy or doing something that inspires me or makes me think about, hey, I'm going to try that next time I go to the gym, or, whatever. There's just, it is the golden age of everything right now.
Yeah. What is the purpose of you at your size getting down to like a 1,200 calorie day? Cause I got to think like for like, that's like me eating like 700 calories, 800 calories. I'm assuming that's like a non-training day. Is it just
some of them are training days? Like if I take, so I'm trying to balance that retatrutide dose throughout the week, just to blunt hunger a little bit, not to where I don't want to eat, or that, eating 200 grams or 300 grams of protein a day is a chore, because some days it really is, or that I have to absolutely force feed myself. But I'm not thinking about eating all day long, and I don't really care. I don't think about snacking, none of that. It's just like, hey, it's time to eat now. I have to eat this. I need some protein and carbs, or, that makes compliance very easy. It makes staying lean super easy. It makes, all that stuff. But if I don't feel like eating, I really don't. I try to force myself in some liquid nutrition, to get down. And I'm thinking, some days I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went like 4 days with hardly any food intake. And, I flattened out, kind of felt shitty, and then started eating a little bit, and I went to train, and stuff just happened. And then, I feed, I take in a little bit more carbohydrates. I eat some sugar, I maybe have like a 300 carb day or whatever. And then the next day I'm leaner and my shirt doesn't fit. It's fucking wacky, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm not even taking, it would make sense if I was ramped up on the anabolics, but I'm not, I'm taking my testo. So it's really interesting. It just, it just blows my mind,
Yeah.
So I hope I don't grow a third eye or some shit from this stuff, but it's been pretty magical.
Yeah. Yeah. And still same as, last time we talked about it, you still just kind of do the microdoses of it.
Yep. And, I talked to a bunch of guys, and they're kind of trying the same thing, trying to figure out, that sweet spot to stay in. And then, there's other guys that say, yeah, I put my brother on it, or I did it. I took it to help me get off of drinking, and they don't want to drink. And so it's weird, man. It's just, it's weird. It's doing a lot of stuff.
Now, would you recommend, like, okay, like for me to test it and try it, see what it like, because it's one of those things like I can.
No,
No.
you're on that side of the fence where you have to eat more. You're always going to have to push food. If you want to stay lean, you just snap your fingers and a little bit of effort and you drop in body fat. The hard part for you is to eat enough consistently to really pack on muscle. Because like when we did that experiment, right, you were eating more carbs than you ever had in your life, and you're eating higher calories than you ever have, and you're still getting leaner.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it would benefit somebody like you. It's for guys that are ecto or meso or ectomorph, where like me, if I overeat, it's my body's keeping it some way. I'll put on muscle, but I'll put on fat real easy too. I think that has a real benefit for those kind of people. Now, of course, I say this, and we're not doctors and all this. Yes, there's side effects and all that. The biggest thing that I think you can get in trouble with it is not eating enough and not lifting weights. So if you do not eat, because my diet, my food intake is going in a cyclic fashion. It's almost like I'm carb and protein cycling and calorie cycling too, right? So I'm up and down and up and down. So I'm refeeding and hitting highs, and then I'm going back down. And so I'm reglycogenating. I'm day in, day out, close to, protein compliance or whatever. Some days I'm deficient, but on those other days, something's happening. And I'm certainly not losing bone density or muscle mass. So I'm training enough and I'm justifying, all that stuff. But if you're just a normal person, maybe work out a little bit and you're trying this stuff, you absolutely have to maintain that you're taking enough calories, enough protein, and then doing some type of weight bearing exercise to justify muscle density and bone density. So just, I know we've talked about it a bunch of times, but.
Yeah. Because I get to your point, dude. It's like, end of the day, like I'm so bloated and I'm like, fuck, I gotta eat one more meal. And I'll look at my track at like 1,800 calories.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I gotta get 2,200 in, right? Like, I'm training hard, but like my non-training days, dude, like, even getting in 2,000, so yeah, that makes sense.
And see, the retatrutide almost makes me like you.
Yeah.
So I'm in your position, right? So I'm leaner. My insulin sensitivity is crazy. Metabolism's flying. The more carbs I eat, the leaner I get. And I'm in that position where I'm like, okay, man, I got to eat more today. I have to push my food. And so I've really, this is a shitty comparison, but I've transformed myself from the fat guy into the scale to maybe not, middle ecto, but I'm definitely closer to your type of scale, your type of metabolism, your type of body, structure and metabolism on the drug, and I think that's a better place to be for maintaining, gaining muscle and staying lean, because your insulin sensitivity is so crazy. When you actually eat enough food and you work out, shit happens. Yeah. But it's for you, it's getting enough food in, right? And so it's weird. It's kind of shifted that whole paradigm for me. But it's I'd rather be on this side than on the other side. So.
Yeah, part of me sometimes I'm like, yeah, like when I hang out with you, I'm like, yeah, I always want to like get more jacked, but then at the same point, like, man, I just feel so good being a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
And now when people see me, I'm like, nobody is like, oh, you're freaking scrawny, even though I'm only, like right now, I think I'm 168. I fluctuate kind of between 167 and 169 pounds. But man, it just feels so good. But then, then I might go to the gym or hang out with somebody like you that has fucking huge ass arms. And it's like, yeah, I want that. But then it's like, do I really want it? I know I don't want to do what it takes.
Then we take off our shirts in the sunlight and you look way better. You gain 20 pounds to look better. And I'm fucking puffy, and I lose the advantage of the t-shirt. So it's, there's that whole thing, but and same, like when I'm in single digit body fat and in great shape, I don't look great. I don't feel good in a t-shirt. As soon as I take it off though, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
shit, I remember. So there's, each side has that fucking,
It's
oh
trade-offs.
man, maybe it's that other side looks better, but yeah, I'd much rather be lean and feel better when I take my shirt off. It's a better place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems though like, okay, there's, all this great, like, okay, with the retatrutide and but when it comes to anabolics, like it doesn't seem like there's really been any, like they thought SARMs was going to be a thing. I don't know if it really ever did translate into anything or some of these other
Yeah.
peptides were going to be a thing, but it kind of seems like that world is kind of hasn't really advanced in like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is that the peptides when big pharma came in and started to push those, there's unlimited amounts of money in that, right? So you take an existing peptide that was, at least I had heard of it, in 2012, and then 2020 or 21, 22, 23, pharma picked it up, and then they turned it into something that they could sell at a premium by dictating the dosage and the delivery system and patenting it. And they poured a whole bunch of money into that whole segment, and those are easy to transform. So I think research went into those, and now you're seeing, the advancements of it, right? Tripeptide or whatever it was, the intermediate. Now retatrutide is the third one that I'm aware of, and I think that the money pushed the research, and we're seeing, the result of that. On the anabolic side, it's kind of been locked up. You can't really prescribe it. And then testosterone, they've tried different esters of testosterone where pharma took it and they try to control, the ester of it, the dosage and the delivery system. And it just doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
And so, nobody's going to take D-ball and try to turn it into D-ball 3.0 because there's no money in it. Nobody can prescribe it. You can't use it. And so I think that's the real loss there. So we could have had, amazing anabolics by now. We haven't, but the trade-off is we got some pretty cool peptides, at least one of them, that's really, really cool. But yeah, I think that's why the anabolic portion just haven't moved up. And there's been different iterations of the testosterone they've tried to get to prescribe, for HRT, and they're all just junk.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, what was it? Is it ipamorelin?
Yeah. CJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried that for a while. I know it was a bitch because you get everywhere you got to bring it, got to refrigerate it. And, but I didn't really notice anything out of that.
No.
I don't, yeah. What excites you most, man, with all this stuff? Like for like with where we're heading, like what do you think is, I don't know, just like to you personally, like that, you're like, oh damn, dude, I'm really excited to see where this stuff goes.
In the fitness space or in health?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Well, just overall health, fitness, body, like anything in that kind of context.
Yeah, I think there's some aspects like the aspect or the portion of medicine that I work in. I think that we're going to be able to stop heart attacks, and the technology's there. It's now just getting it adapted. It costs money right now for people to do it, but most of the best care right now you're going to have to pay for, because it's preventative care. And in the preventative arena, there's all kinds of cool stuff that you can do that I think really have an impact on your quality of life. Am I going to die at 70 or 60 or, maybe next week in the water? I don't know. But I think if I stay on top of all these things and, I'm able to keep my body doing what I'm doing, I'm going to maintain a high quality life until the day I die. I think that's very possible right now. Like I'm 53. I don't remember 53-year-old dudes looking or being able to do the shit that I do. And I'm not even elite. There's guys that are kick my ass all day long, but I'm able to maintain that quality of life and the high quality of life and do almost anything that I want to do, at being beat up, scarred up, torn up and 53. So I have a good, the guys that are coming behind us, like your generation and then behind you, I think you got a good shot at being in phenomenal shape, high quality of life, still doing the shit that you want to do for the most part at 60, 65 and beyond, and I think that's going to be a possibility if you take care of yourself, and with some luck. I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That's really cool. God, on the other side, there's so many cool AI stuff I know that you're playing with a bunch of stuff. I'm playing with stuff. It's been really neat, man. little scared where it's going to go, but staying on top of it and learn how to use it. There's some really cool shit. Like you
Dude,
said,
I heard,
it's all around. Everything is there's so much
yeah,
fucking exciting shit.
I can't remember the exact number, but it was something like, okay, in the early 1900s, it was like 87% of workers were attached to the agricultural kind of farming, agricultural, like some
Yeah,
element of food growth. Now today it's like less than like 2% of work, right? Or it's even
yeah,
less than that, right? Because of all the technology, but other jobs were created,
yeah,
so it's like, I don't know, like, fuck. I mean, who knows? Maybe they come out with some crazy robots that kill us all, but fuck it. We're all going to die anyway. Might as
yeah.
well die seeing something cool than just fucking,
Fighting robots.
but
Yeah,
dude, maybe I'm just optimistic. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I see all this as a far net positive, dude, on
yeah,
all fronts. I mean, the shit that you guys are doing, I know we don't talk about it a lot on the podcast, but the shit that you guys are doing with, like you mentioned, with heart attacks and being able to go map out every single arterial pathway through the whole body. Like, I mean, it's just shit that we never would have ever fathomed. And it's just now it's good. I was talking to a buddy of mine who is big in the tech world, CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company now. And he's like, dude, he goes, we're seeing more changes now in a year than we used to see in like 100-year period of time. Like it's now shit's just so fast.
Well, when did ChatGPT first kind of launch? Was it 2 years ago?
Something like that. Yeah, 2-3 years
Yeah.
ago, maybe.
And I remember I was like, okay, man, I'm going to set aside like an hour a day and try to learn how to use the shit. And I still do that, try to set aside time every day to play with, new tools, try to learn prompts better, whatever. And now, from going from that open AI, that one little thing, and then all people took that and then created these apps, right? Apps to build a PowerPoint, apps to do this, apps to create content, whatever. And it's almost like it's kind of merging together now. So a lot of these individualized apps, like I had one that helped me read and summarize PDFs, scientific PDFs, scientific studies. Then you had one that did this, or one created this, and one for that. Now they're all kind of coming together to where you're like, yeah, I learned how to use that, but now they all do that,
Yeah.
and it's just getting to the point. I think you're going to have, I know Elon's trying to do it, but you're going to have like a Grok or something like that where, shit. I mean, I don't know how many times a day I ask a detailed question, or I'm interested in something like, hey, lay out a 15-minute read for me to learn everything I know about this. It fucking does it. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you've got like, Make. Yeah. Have you played with Make at all? With Make. So Make is like a Swiss Army knife. It's almost like a tool to put together. Like, okay, I can have Make trigger, go out to Perplexity to get all the trending articles on the XYZ thing, and then Make it almost like it's
It makes agents,
yeah,
right?
it
Yeah,
puts
yeah, yeah.
pieces together. So then it's like, okay, I can tell Make, I want you to go to Perplexity, every day and get me all the top articles on XYZ topic. Then from there, once you pull, and you can put the parameters, then from there, I want you to pull the top, 4 or whatever. Then I want you to bring those 4 articles, deliver them to ChatGPT, and then create based in my wording, based on how I write, right? You could train ChatGPT this way, create the blog post. Once the blog post is created, then have Make, then boom, send that and publish that on your own website, like just all, yeah, she's like little mini assistants that can make, I
Yeah.
guess that's what it's called. Makes all this, yeah, it's
Yeah.
gnarly, dude.
Yeah, I watched a couple podcasts on that. They were talking about they're talking about making agents, right?
Yep.
And where they had that, I don't think it was Make, but it was another one where they triggered all this thing. The guy would say, "Hey, make an appointment for this," or ask Bob if he's free on Saturday, and then it would trigger this, and then they would email, get a response, respond back to you, set the calendar, set off this whole chain of events. Fucking dude, that's
Yeah.
the future, man. Right? That's how you're going to have guys, and they're doing it. There's guys now, but you're going to have people with 1 or 2 employees that are billion-dollar companies, and that's how they're
Yep.
going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super exciting.
Yeah. I fully agree, man. I think within the next 10 years, you'll start to see that, like one founder, one employee, multi-billion-dollar valuations, like just crazy.
And that's why I take Forge on a daily basis, because
Yeah.
a fucking big dose of lion's mane with a neuroplasticity, because that's what, we recommend you try to learn something new all the time, and that's to take advantage of the neuroplasticity enhancement. But yeah, dude, there's so much to learn and so much to digest, and then learn how to use the tools in that. I mean, I think Rogan has said this a few times, and you're like, I don't know how people are bored.
Yeah.
I definitely need downtime. I do need downtime where I just veg out and relax, but God damn, there's so much to learn. And then if you want to learn anything, literally anything, you can type it into an AI search, like Grok, Perplexity, whatever, and then tell it how to teach you the information. It's fucking nuts, man. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Yep. Yep. So with that being said, you guys go to forgelife.com, FORJLIFE.com, and snag your bottle of Zone. Promise you guys will not be disappointed. Jim absolutely 1000% nailed it with this new formulation. I wouldn't recommend anybody do this, but I'm taking about 3 doses every day, using it to the extreme. But like I was telling Jim last time, our last podcast, I'm like, I haven't drinking, like, right now I'm having a Coke Zero. I'll end up having like maybe 1 or 2 of these a day, just to have some type, I don't know how much caffeine's in this.
It's a shot of caffeine. Yeah.
Dude, I haven't had a cup of coffee. I can't tell you in how long. Not that anything's wrong with coffee. I just, dude, like, now the only reason why I'm taking 3 doses is because I'm working 18, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week right now, but just, even with 1 to 2 doses, dude, a day, like, man, I just feel so amazing. Mental clarity, 0 brain fog, but I don't even need caffeine. I don't even think about it. It's not like it was like last time you and I talking, I had to think about it. But I was kind of shocked. I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about not drinking coffee. I wasn't intentionally doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, dude, it's been like a week since I've had 1 cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Now it's been multiple.
I surprised myself again today, man. I got off the road and I went to the gym late. I popped 3 zones and 160 milligrams of caffeine, dude. And I got up at 4 o'clock this morning. I've been going since 4, and I rolled into the gym. It's like 12 hours later, and I was like, holy shit, great workout. And I'm already calmed back down, so I'm just continually impressed with it, but I'm really happy with it. It's been fucking awesome.
So you guys go snag your bottle now. You'll also see a link right below this video. Or if you're listening to this in audio, in the show notes or the description, top link will be a link to go to check out, again, forgelife.com, where you can snag a bottle. I think it's only like $59.
55, I think.
Yeah. We were like $80, but Jim talked me into lowering the price, which I didn't want to do, because I'm like, dude, it's better now, and you want to lower the price, but he talked me into it. So we did it.
Yeah, well, it helps changing out some that magnesium that we're using that was super, super expensive, and I just kept testing it individually in our groups, and I can't tell you that it really made a difference at all. And that, when we brought in the 3 eye antioxidants that are actually for the brain too, just lowered the price, and we were hoping that it would make a lot more affordable for everybody. So.
Yeah. And by far, dude, like, even not even counting price, not even like, oh, it's better for the price. Like, this blows out of the water. It was always good, but this is, what is this, like your 3rd or 4th kind of iteration?
This is the 3rd tweak that we've made on label and with our formula. And before we actually put it in a bottle, there was probably 15 iterations of it. And, the poor suckers that hung in there, I'm sure of them are still with us, but some of the people who agreed to test all that shit with us, God bless them, man, they and myself included, we had some rough ones.
Yeah.
So it was not easy. It wasn't easy to get where we are now, that's for sure.
Yep. 1000%. All right, you guys, go snag your bottle of Zone at Forge, FORJLIFE.com. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this one up here. As always, Jim, awesome jamming with you, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you too. And you guys watch and listen, truly appreciate all you guys. Keep crushing, keep kicking ass. We will see you next time. Peace.